Okay, thank you. So as I say, for those who've just joined, you're all very welcome to our webinar this afternoon. We hope to be finished by 1 o'clock. We'll try and stick to those times. If I could just ask everyone to put their mic on mute. You can turn your camera off, or you can keep that on as well. Feel free to whatever suits yourself. We will have a quick Q&A session at the end, so if you can hold fire on any questions, or if you want to put them in the Q&A chat function as well, feel free to do so. So just want to welcome everyone. My name is Mary Meehan. I'm the Deputy Chief Executive of Manufacturing Northern Ireland. And I'd like to welcome my colleagues here today from the IDEAM network, which we are partnered with. So they're an industry cluster. And I know John is one of our speakers today. So John can tell you a little bit more about the IDEAM network during his presentation. But as you can see, the Digi Manufacturing 2.0 is a project which has a number of different supporters. So Manufacturing NI is one of the cross-border partners on the project with IDEAM in the Republic of Ireland. And IDEAM is closely linked to the Technological University of the Shannon. This project is funded and supported by InterTradeIreland's Synergy project. And this is the second year we're coming into the final stages of the project of Digi Manufacturing. But essentially, it's been a cross-border partnership with the Irish Digital Engineering and Advanced Manufacturing Cluster and Manufacture Northern Ireland. And we have availed of some great support through InterTrade, and we've been able to do a number of different networking events that have taken place earlier in this year. We have worked with companies throughout the year in terms of trying to help and support them on their digital journey. And as I go through the project today, as I go through the presentations, there's a number of things that we can offer you as a company to help you on your digitalization journey, or to help you find either those business-to-business partnerships in the other jurisdiction, or to find a buyer or a supplier for your products and services. So the key ethos of this project is really to bring SMEs together, to bring those supply chains, which are really, really important, especially since Brexit. So really leveraging the advantage of those all-island supply chains and building that collaboration. Our key themes are really unlocking innovation, and also on the green transition journey as well. So a lot of the companies that have been participating are very much involved in trying to reduce carbon footprint and really move towards that transition to net zero as well. Part of our project, we offer companies free entry into our online Digi Manufacturing brochure. So I invite you all today, if you have your phone, feel free to scan the QR code here on this screen. There's a 2-minute sign up, which you can do later on that link. It's a very easy sign up, but as you can see, it gets you into our online brochure, and that's something that will last beyond the life of this project. It takes a simple snapshot of your company with your key value proposition really highlighted in that brochure, and it gives the contact details and puts a face to the name as well. What we intend to do is to share that widely with companies on both sides of the border. So it's a free marketing opportunity for you and your company as well to try and make those linkages. So we encourage everyone to try and sign up if you haven't signed up already. This is just some screenshots from the brochure. We've probably close to 50-60 companies in that brochure now from both sides of the border. So we do intend to market that widely as well. So if you haven't done so, please hold your camera from your phone up to the screen and you take a picture of that QR code, and it should bring you directly to the sign up page as well. As well as that, as we're coming towards the end of the programme, we are offering some free one-to-one consultations, let's say, or business support slots with myself for Northern Ireland companies, and from the ROI, the Republic of Ireland side, Camilla, you can book an appointment with either myself or Camilla or the IDM team. I know the John as well will probably open up his diary for those, but those are 30-minute appointment slots that you can speak to one of the team just to find out what your individual requirements are. If you would like us to put you in contact with a company across the border, or if you want to find out more information about some of the funding supports from InterTradeIreland, or if you want matched up with a supplier or a buyer, then we're happy to do that. So that's on offer from now until the end of December. The diaries are getting booked up fast, so if you do want that one-to-one slot, please try and get that booked in this week, which is we'll get that and we'll come back to you fairly quickly on that. So that's all from me at the minute by way of welcomes and just a quick overview on the project itself. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to invite Dominic Mullen, who works with the Helix team and InterTradeIreland. And Dominic is going to give you an overview of the Innovation Boost Programme and the opportunities for manufacturers. So over to you, Dominic.
Hey, Mary, thank you for that. And good to meet everybody on the call today. I hope you can hear me okay. You might give me a quick thumbs up just to confirm that you're hearing me all right. So I'm one of the team, as Mary says, at Helix Innovation Partnerships, and we manage the Innovation Boost Programme on behalf of InterTradeIreland. And my colleague Robbie is here with me today, and he'll speak on another aspect of the programme in a short while. So as you will have gathered, the programme is an initiative of InterTradeIreland. And if you're not familiar with InterTradeIreland, they are one of the all-island bodies that was created on the back of the Good Friday Agreement. And in essence, InterTradeIreland are all about increasing the level of business and trade collaboration between the North and the South. So all of InterTrade's activities and supports will have some element of North-South collaboration within the project or within the initiative. The various pillars of InterTrade's activities can be broken down into a number of areas. There are a number of programs to support companies in developing their sales in cross-border markets. There are a number of supports around funding for early stage companies and increasing the level of angel investment activity and private equity investment activity. There's another program called Business Explorer, which Michelle will talk about a little bit later, so I'll not delve into that. But our primary focus here and now is innovation, and that's one of InterTradeIreland's key pillars. And the Innovation Boost programme, which we're going to talk about now, would be one of InterTradeIreland's flagship programmes. And the clue is in the name as to what the aim of the programme is. It's all about trying to develop and embed the level of innovation within SMEs in Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Okay, and the model for that is what we sometimes refer to as a three-legged stool. So on the one hand, you might have, for example, an SME in the Republic of Ireland, which has some sort of challenge that they wish to address. That challenge might be in the area of new product development or new service development, or equally, it could be more about improving the company's internal operations, their own processes, and trying to optimize their own efficiencies, if you like. Okay, but typically that SME will not have all of the competencies, resources, expertise, focus, time to push that project or that initiative forward. Quite often the company will have been thinking about this initiative for a number of years, but never quite made it happen. So in that scenario, once we've got to know the company a little bit, we will look to matchmake the company with a college in Northern Ireland that has an area of expertise and experience which is suited to the knowledge gap within the company and suited to the project which the company would like to undertake. So I'm talking about this in the context of an SME in the Republic and a college in the North, but the flip is also entirely possible where the SME would be in Northern Ireland and the college partner would be in the Republic of Ireland. So once we've had a chat with the company and we've understood what the company would like to do, we would typically introduce the company to a number of colleges in the North. They would have exploratory calls, and then the company would decide who they would most like to work with, the college which they feel is most aligned with their needs. Then they move forward to the stage of preparing an application, And the good news is that the college does most of the work on preparing the application, so it's made easy for the company. The company does obviously need to share some insights and some information to help populate the application form, but most of the work is done by the college. That funding application is then submitted for assessment, and if it is successful, the company would get a letter of offer, which includes the provision of financial support towards the employment of a graduate project manager who will work typically for a period of 18 months in the company, so employed by the company, working on the project and supported by the academic partner from the other side of the border, if you like. So those are the three legs of the stool. I'm going to look at each of those three legs in a little bit more detail in turn now. So in terms of company eligibility, there's a few things here, and you will have these slides afterwards, so you can double check yourselves. The programme, like most InterTrade supports, is focused on Indigenous SMEs. So Indigenous SMEs with less than 250 people, and there are certain criteria around turnover levels and balance sheet values as well. Typically in manufacturing or tradable services, so internationally tradable services, trading for at least 2 years, turnover of at least 350k, financially viable, so typically profitable, and if not profitable in the last year or two, we will look at the bigger picture. The last few years haven't been normal years by any stretch of the imagination. A company would have to have at least 5 employees. They need to demonstrate some commitment to innovation, and they need to have a clear project or challenge in mind. That's something that we will tease out and flesh out with the company, as will the academic partner. But it's important that it's a relatively coherent initiative or project, and it's not just an extra body to work in the company on a bit of this and a bit of that, if you know what I mean. It needs to be a coherent project. The knowledge partners in Northern Ireland, I'm guessing that any of our guests today from the Republic are primarily familiar with Queen's and Ulster, the 2 universities in Northern Ireland, but there are also 6 regional colleges, which are somewhat akin to institutes of technology or institutes of technology as they were before a number of them started becoming technological universities. So quite applied in their focus, most of them with significant teams that are dedicated primarily to industry collaboration and who also do a little bit of teaching, rather than doing a whole lot of teaching and a little bit of industry collaboration. So they tend to be very good, practical and available partners to have working on a knowledge transfer partnership such as this. As regards the graduate project manager, then, the first thing I would say is that the term project manager is a generic working title. The actual job title will vary from project to project. Okay. So it might be a systems engineer if that's the nature of the role, okay, when it comes to actually recruiting for that role. So the person in question does need to be a graduate, so they have to have a degree, essentially. That degree might have been last year or it might have been 30 years ago. It doesn't matter, they just need to have a degree, okay? So the graduate isn't necessarily from the partner college. So if, for example, a company in Northern Ireland is partnered with TUS, Technological University of the Shannon, the graduate does not have to come to TUS. It's an openly advertised post. The company and the academic would collaborate in terms of shortlisting and interviewing, etc., to pick the candidate that best suits the project and best suits the company. The graduate and the project manager, once they're in post for the period of 18 months, typically, they have access to a free, fully funded part-time postgraduate diploma in innovation management at Queen's University in Belfast. In practice, that's about 6 modules throughout the year, where there would be contact time either remotely or face-to-face on a Friday and a Saturday. So the company would release the graduate to participate in those. There's some assignments, etc. But we do find that, I'm sure you all appreciate that recruitment is tight these days. It can be difficult to attract talent. And this is an extra carrot for a lot of graduates or even people who are a few years into their career, but perhaps have never had any particular exposure to business disciplines or innovation disciplines. This is something which is attractive to them, so that not only can they take a project by the scruff of the neck and take ownership of that project for 18 months, but by the end of the 18 months, they can also have a postgrad in innovation management. There's another feather in their cap, if you like. So in terms of the money, In theory, new service and new product development projects are funded for 18 months, and process improvement projects are funded for 12 months. However, we have found that significant process improvement projects within companies can often require a period of 18 months just as much as a new product development project. So these days, we find that the vast majority of projects are funded at 18 months. Okay. On that basis, the funding package, which would go to, you'll see it broken down here by Republic of Ireland company or Northern Ireland company. I'm going to talk in terms of a Republic of Ireland company, but you can look at the details yourself afterwards. So the core of the funding goes towards salary of the project manager, and that's €18,000 per year, so €27,000 over the period of 18 months. That assumes a 50% funding rate, so that assumes that you're paying the graduate at least 36k. If you're paying them less than 36k, then the 18k reduces. If you're paying them more than 36k, unfortunately, the 18k doesn't increase. Okay, it's a maximum of 18k towards their salary per year. There's also a budget of €2,000 towards their ongoing training and development. So if there are particular training courses or certifications that would be of benefit to them, that is something that can be supported out of the project budget. And there's a budget of €4,000 towards project-related expenses. So at a simple level, this tends to cover the laptop or whatever IT equipment the graduate is working on, and then travel to Belfast perhaps for the diploma, travel to industry events, conferences, partner meetings, supplier meetings, whatever that might be. Okay, so for a Republic of Ireland company, the total funding for an 18-month project is 33k, and for a Northern Irish company, the funding over a period of 18 months is 27k sterling. Okay, the knowledge partner then receives a separate stream of funding for their time and contribution to the project. All right. So what does a project look like in practice? So there is a work plan prepared as part of the application, and that is carried into the funded period. And the project manager will work in the company under the guidance of a line manager, often as part of a wider team, obviously, but with a particular line manager in place. The academic contributes at least 2 days of their time per month, and different projects will splice and dice that as appropriate for the project. Some of that can be face-to-face on site, some of it can be online, etc. There would be a monthly technical meeting, and by that it's often just between the project manager, their line manager, and the academic partner. And in addition to that, then a quarterly project management group meeting where you would typically have a company chair. So it's a senior manager from the company would chair that meeting, just to ensure that it's well aligned with the overall strategic direction of the company. Project manager would participate, the line manager, the academic, and an innovation boost consultant such as myself or Robbie. The whole funded period of 18 months or 12 months is broken into quarterly cycles, really, or quarterly phases. And there's an element of reporting by way of a simple PowerPoint, really, by the project manager. Excuse me, folks, at the end of each quarter, and a retrospective claim for the quarter which is just completed. So I think in terms of the substance and the subject matter of a project, there's lots of scope here. So it could be new product development if you have in mind a product that you would like to develop, but perhaps you don't have all of the competencies to deliver upon that. That's something that you might be able to access expertise in through Innovation Boost. It may also be that new product development is something that you haven't done a lot of in the past, and maybe you've had a couple of safe products which have served you well for many a year, but within the company there is limited expertise in terms of formal NPD processes. That is something that academic partners will very often bring to the table and will help a company devise more formalized NPD processes. Projects can touch upon areas such as smart manufacturing, enhancing in-house design capabilities, 3D scanning, modeling, rapid prototyping, automation, robotics, whatever takes your fancy, really. Digitization of paper and Excel-based processes. We have a lot of companies that are doing quite well, are growing, could grow much more, but are somewhat constrained by the fact that their own processes are still paper-based or very repetitive and manual data entry processes, which can obviously be be addressed and significant efficiencies introduced through digitization. Systems integration, data analytics, visualization, redesign of manufacturing layouts and systems. A very broad range of areas. I would have thought quite well aligned to the focus of the clusters that are participating in your own cross-border network. So definitely scope, I hope, for you to explore projects with ourselves on the back of this. Just a couple of brief examples. So MAN Engineering, based in Campile in County Wexford, really contract precision engineers, manufacturers, doing quite a bit within the aviation sector, historically within the automotive sector. They have an innovation boost underway at the moment with Southern Regional College, and there are a number of elements to that. Whilst up to now most of their work has been bespoke contract work for their clients, they have identified a product that they believe a number of their clients will be interested in. So for the first time, they're looking to develop their own product, which might form the basis of repeatable sales in the future. They would have been somewhat lacking, they tell you themselves, in terms of formal NPD expertise and also in terms of in-house design expertise, which is important in terms of the product that they're looking to develop. So through collaboration with Southern Regional College, they are focusing on developing a new product, putting in place NPD processes, but also in parallel with that and with a view to more of this type of activity in the future, very much designing their own in-house digital design competencies. So that MAN are a company of about 25 employees, if I'm not mistaken. Kent Stainless, as it happens, also based in Wexford, just on the northern fringes of Wexford town. A more significant company of north of 200 employees who, as their name suggests, work in the area of stainless steel. Everything from pharmaceutical plant installations to very high-end stainless steel street furniture. Okay, so a very wide range of products and a sizable team, and a team which is evolving all of the time with people in and people out. So that sometimes leads to a situation where the people who are working on a particular product might be relatively new to working on that product, and that gives rise occasionally to problems in terms of issues that arise, quality issues, so on and so forth, reworks, etc. And one of Kent's strategic objectives is to become a learning organization. Okay, so they have worked closely, or they are working closely with Southeastern Regional College to put in place a visual management system. So in practice, this now means that any employee who's at a workstation has access to a terminal where they can access digital information around the correct way of undertaking a job and the processes associated with that. Information on issues which have arisen in the past and how to avoid those issues or how to address those issues. And also the possibility for that operative or quality personnel to record any quality issues associated with the output of those processes. So this has led to a situation where operatives now are much better equipped to deliver in line with standard procedures, and it is also giving a new level of accessibility and transparency in terms of quality control information. And the quality team can now access a dashboard where they can see the incidence of quality issues across different product areas. They can identify where the main issues are occurring repeatedly, and they can reassign staff, perhaps more experienced personnel, to that area for a period of time. And they can invest in further training for the staff involved in that area, etc. So that has already had a very significant impact upon not just quality, but the culture within Kent Stainless. So that's been a very successful project. So how would the process work in the run-up to preparing an innovation boost? We would have an exploratory chat with the company. So myself, or there are a number of other consultants dotted around the country, would have a chat with you to get to understand what it is you'd like to do. And we do have a quick initial look at your finances to make sure that there are no banana skins there that would trip us up further down the road. We would complete a short questionnaire with you just to understand the sort of baseline level of innovation activity that's going on within your company. We would talk about what the project might look like, and then with your permission, we would bounce that spec off a number of colleges in the north who we feel have the areas of competence relevant to your needs. There might be some exploratory calls with those colleges. You would then identify the partner that you wish to work with, and they would take the lead then on preparing the application. There's a twofold assessment process. On the one hand, a technical look at the level of innovation within the project. That level of innovation doesn't need to be earth-shattering, but it does need to be innovative in the context of the company. So much depends on where the company is at by way of a starting point. We would look at the business case around the innovation and why it makes sense for the project, for the company to do what they're proposing to do. And then in parallel with that, InterTradeIreland's team undertake an element of financial due diligence, which, if everything is relatively straightforward or normal, that's generally very light touch. There might be a couple of queries from that, but they're generally very quickly addressed. Once those two aspects of assessment have green lights, we then hand the proposals to InterTradeIreland's innovation subcommittee, so a subcommittee of their board, and they would approve, all being well, the project. But because we work very closely with partnerships in the preparation of applications, and there are multiple opportunities for feedback on each draft application, what we find is 90 to 95% of the applications that go into InterTradeIreland are approved. And if they're not approved, it tends to be on the back of a couple of points which require clarification and which generally can be clarified quite quickly. And then once the company has the letter of offer, the recruitment process can begin. So from the date of application, so from the date of submitting your application, typically there's a period of 6 weeks from the closing date for the applications to the date on which the innovation subcommittee will review those applications. So that's the sort of window that you're talking about. So it's relatively swift when compared with other funding mechanisms. In terms of intellectual property, as people often ask, it's treated as if the knowledge partner is consulting to the company. So on that basis, any IP which is developed during the project rests with the company, not with the academic partner, unless, and this would be highly, highly unusual, unless the academic partner is bringing some aspect of background IP to the project, and then we would need to address that somewhat separately. But generally, it's very much a situation where the IP rests with the company. NDAs, etc., can be put in place if the partners feel that they are required. So the benefits can be wide-ranging. It can perhaps be the expansion of a product range, perhaps a new product which is going to allow you to penetrate a new market geographically or by way of a different segment or vertical, increase in sales revenues, optimized efficiencies, optimized operations and efficiencies associated with that, enhanced MPD processes as we touched upon earlier. It's a great way to get a look at a project manager over 12 or 18 months and assess the extent to which you think that person could be a good long-term member of your team. And over 70% of project managers stay on with companies after the end of their Innovation Boost project. And it can also be the starting point for a longer-term collaboration with a knowledge partner. If you work well together and if you find that the knowledge partner have an area of expertise which can continue to add value to your company. Key points, I would say, as I touched upon earlier, it's important to have a clear project or challenge in mind as opposed to a bit of this and a bit of that. Alignment and fit with the knowledge partner is really important, but that's something that we will actively facilitate. And we would say, and companies would tell you this, the best approach to Innovation Boost is to do it for the knowledge and for the expertise that can be derived from the partnership, not just for the money. Okay, so it's all about the knowledge. And I would strongly recommend that you talk to myself or Robbie or one of our colleagues, and between us we can tease out what might make sense. We can introduce you to a knowledge partner, and on the back of those conversations, then your plans often take shape and clarify themselves. So you will, in the slides, have contact details of the 5 consultants that are dotted around the island of Ireland, north and south. So by all means, drop any of us a line, and we'd be only happy to have a call with you and explore what might be possible through the programme. That's me. Thank you for your time. Robbie will take over shortly, and he's going to talk about a variant upon the theme of Innovation Boost, which is the B2B element of the programme. So I'm just going to stop sharing now.
Thanks, Dominic.
Be available for questions later.
Just a quick question from me in terms of, so the project manager that is going to be recruited, they don't have to be from the opposite jurisdiction. They can be, so a county down company, for example, can recruit someone from that local area.
Yes, absolutely. And there is actually scope. There is scope for it to be an internal candidate as well. So it could potentially be somebody who's already working within the company. But if they go into the Innovation Boost role, then their role has to be backfilled.
Okay. And just another question that just came to mind as well. So you'd mentioned that company, like it was Kent Stainless Steel, they had implemented a new visualization innovation, presumably for maybe stock management. A lot of companies now in that kind of manufacturing solution space are doing that. So can companies solely, do they have to develop this type of product from scratch for themselves, or through the project, can they be connected up with solution providers as well to help them on that journey? How does that work?
Very often, but particularly when you're talking about process improvement, the academic would be helping the companies understand their own needs. Firstly, map out their own needs, identify technologies, and a lot of those are off-the-shelf technologies which could assist the company in addressing what they need to address. Help them integrate those systems with systems that they might already have in place. Very often, companies will have tried something and they are only using 5% of the capability of a certain technology. And by adding something else in, they can make the whole thing more powerful. So absolutely accessing off-the-shelf technologies in respect of process improvement is absolutely fine. There's often some element of customization or integration involved.
Perfect. Okay, thanks. Robbie, over to you. Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Thanks, Dominic. So I'm here to speak to you guys on business-to-business stream, I suppose, of Innovation Boost. And business-to-business is InterTradeIreland's initiative to foster cross-border collaborations between business. So Dominic just described a program where the collaboration is with a knowledge centre, an academic partner in the opposite jurisdiction. This is a business in the opposite jurisdiction. So the businesses would collaborate then to solve a problem similar to Innovation Boost. You've got a technical challenge, you've got something you're trying to overcome that might be a medium to long-term commitment for your business. So it's something you might be able to solve on your own, but it would take several years and maybe isn't viable to address. If you can identify a business partner in the opposite jurisdiction that may fast track the solution to that challenge, then this program would suit you. So again, it's focused on developing new product, new process, similar to Innovation Boost, same type of technical challenges. It's just that you're working with the business in the opposite jurisdiction. The program provides £50,000, a euro equivalent per partner. That's 50% match funded. And it's there obviously to foster development of new knowledge and expertise in both businesses. So something Dominic mentioned is, the academic partners in Innovation Boost get a benefit from working with an industrial partner. They understand how their theory is applied in practice. In this case, both businesses need to be developing their knowledge and expertise, perhaps in a new sector or of different products and services. With business to business, an academic partner can be involved. It can be from either jurisdiction, but it's optional. So it's not mandated, but it does kind of strengthen, I suppose, the technical challenge. If when it gets to application stage, if you're involving an academic partner to look at something particularly challenging that neither business can really say they have the knowledge or experience to tackle, then it can strengthen an application, but it's not mandated. As I say, academic partner can be in either jurisdiction. So the eligibility criteria for business to business is very similar to Innovation Boost, a slightly higher bar in terms of turnover, because this is at the moment InterTradeIreland's highest level of support in their innovation pillar of those pillars that Dominic presented. So in the innovation pillar, you'd have Innovation Boost, and then just above Innovation Boost is Innovation Boost B2B, because of it's £100,000 or euro equivalent support, effectively 50 per partner. So again, it has to be an SME. Both businesses have to be SMEs. Manufacturer and tradable services, same as Innovation Boost, minimum 2 years trading history. The turnover bar or threshold is 500k really for business to business. And again, because it's at a higher level. Business must be financially viable. What do we mean by that? Well, profitable, solvent, Again, you have to have a commitment to innovation or demonstrate a commitment to innovation in our initial discussions. Have a clear project or challenge that can't be addressed by either partner on its own. So when you identify the challenge that you're trying to overcome, it's not enough to select a business partner in the opposite jurisdiction that could solve that problem as a matter of routine. It has to be, both businesses have to be bringing a particular skill set to the problem and together be able to solve the issue. The project has to deliver benefits for both companies. So at the end of the 18 to 24 months, so B2B projects are slightly longer than Innovation Boost projects. They typically go 18 or 24 months. At the end of the 24 months, both businesses have to have clear benefits. So that might be new products for both parties, or new services, or a new market for one or other of the businesses. So I can describe an example of how these would work. So where you might have a software company collaborating with a manufacturing company in the opposite jurisdiction, the software company might not already be working in the manufacturing company sector. So by collaborating on solving a solution, maybe it's a new platform for data management for the manufacturing company, the software company can then offer that service as a product, perhaps, to other manufacturing organizations in their own jurisdiction. So it's not simply a software company solving a data problem for a manufacturing company. Both parties or both businesses part way at the end of the 24 months, and the manufacturing company are delighted they have a new data management system, but the software company really doesn't have anything to sell. So that it's at the end of the project, both parties have to have a means of generating revenues, a clear benefit. The application process for business to business is 2 stages. It's different to Innovation Boost. So the first step is an expression of interest, where you outline the project brief, who you want to work with, the other business partner. If you're involving an academic partner or an industry expert, you'd identify them in that in the expression of interest as well. And just a brief description of the benefits for the parties and why collaboration is necessary. So why either company can't solve the challenge on their own. That expression of interest gets submitted to InterTradeIreland's innovation team. We get a response pretty quickly on the expressions of interest. It doesn't have to go to the subcommittee. If the expression of interest is approved, then you move on to the second stage of the application process, which is the preparation of a full application. So it's a little bit more in depth. It's asking for more detail on the challenge, the project brief, what either party is bringing to the table, what is the academic partner or industry expert bringing to the table, and then a business case for what each party is going to get from the project. There is support for filling out a full application. So there's €3,600 or pound equivalent, sterling equivalent. And if you're involving an academic partner, then the academic partner would receive that support. They would get €3,600 to coordinate and complete that full application on behalf of the business partnership. If you're not using an academic partner, then you can use that money for a bid writer just to coordinate the application. Now, the reason there's support there is because it is more in depth. It is more, they're asking for more detail and a business case, and you're given 8 weeks to prepare the application and submit. So that's 8 weeks from approval of your EOI. Now, the timeframes I'm talking about here is if you were to engage with us and say you've identified a suitable business partner, you'd be looking at 2 to 4 weeks to get an EOI into a suitable state to submit to InterTradeIreland. 2 weeks fastest, but most would be prepared within 4 weeks. And as I say, once the EOI is approved, you get 8 weeks to submit a full application. Those applications must go to the innovation subcommittee, which meets at the end of every month apart from July and December. So you have 10 opportunities throughout the year to get your full application to InterTradeIreland for B2B programme. So once the application is approved, what are the costs that can be claimed? So Dominic described in Innovation Boost that the primary support is for 50% of the salary of a new employee and the academic costs. In business to business, it's more flexible. So the eligible costs are, you can claim the salary costs for anybody working on the project. So that's any number of employees working on the project. You can claim their costs. You get 50% reimbursed. Overheads limited to 20% of your salary or labor costs. You can claim subcontracting costs, travel and subsistence, equipment, that's depreciation on your capital equipment, materials needed specifically for the project, and any trials or testing. If you're developing a new product, you need to run some trials. So it's very flexible on the costs and the way you can spend that £50,000 match funded, obviously 50%. So your equivalent spend would be 100,000 per partner. Obviously, there are some in-kind contributions there with staff costs, etc. But it is quite flexible. It's more flexible than Innovation Boost. So what do we need to proceed? If you think this is interesting, we might be able to solve a problem for you, or foster a cross-border collaboration with the company that you would like to work with. Similar to Innovation Boost, we would need financial statements for both companies to do a quick financial eligibility check along the lines of SME eligibility, profitability, solvency, that type of thing. We need management accounts for the current year from both companies, a brief description of the project or challenge you're trying to address, and again, permission to discuss the project with colleagues. So we and then whether you'd like to involve an academic partner or not. And just, I suppose it's worth noting that if you don't have an academic partner in mind, or you need help to identify an academic partner, we can help you with that too. We can also help you to find business partners in the opposite jurisdiction. I'm regularly having conversations with businesses who want to be involved in business-to-business, the business-to-business program, but can't identify a suitable partner. So we do have a comprehensive list of businesses that are eligible and willing to work on a cross-border basis. So please get in touch if you're having trouble identifying a suitable partner. So the key points to take away: identify a partner that will add to your skills. So not just be able to solve a problem. They'll be able to bring skills to a project, and by interacting, collaborating on this innovation project, you will learn from them and they will learn from you. So it's a two-way system. The knowledge has to flow in both directions, not just one. And it has to be a balanced partnership. So one partner can't be taking bearing the weight of the project on their own. Consider challenges that may be a long-term commitment for you on your own. So this you can use B2B as a method of accelerating the development of a new product, a new service, or solving an internal problem for your business. Consider if you'd benefit from working with an academic partner. So maybe you're looking at generative AI or something on the kind of a leading edge of technology at the moment. Consider if you would benefit from an academic partner, and we can help you identify one. And be clear on the benefits for both companies at the end of the project. It's probably the most important point. Whatever problem you come up with and whatever business partner you choose, just make sure that both businesses at the end of the project have some means to generate revenue as a result of the project. And if all that sounds interesting, guys, please reach out. My email address is there on the slides and my telephone number. And anytime, just drop me an email or give me a call and I'll explain the process again, but you'll have the slides today and we can start the discussion. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Robbie. That was a very clear walkthrough of that program, which it sounds like a great program. Just a quick question from me. You'd mentioned, the support in terms of helping to write those bids. Is that through yourselves, or is there a list of bid writers that you could put the companies in contact with?
Yeah, we wouldn't do the bid writing through Helix, but we have a list of bid writers that we've worked with in the past. So if you're struggling to find a bid writer, yeah, we can recommend people, no problem. Okay,
perfect. Okay, thank you. So the key difference from that program and the one that Dominic had mentioned previously is that business benefits. So the B2B, there has to be business benefits for both parties. Where the business and academic one, the IP really resides with the company, the lead company on that one. So that's clear. That
it's a good question. Yeah. So when we get into I suppose the application stage, and if the businesses believe that there may be new IP, then we would encourage businesses to assign some of the budget towards maybe IP costs, you know, or developing maybe an IP attorney or things like that, you know. So there would have to be an agreement between the businesses on who owns the IP as a result of B2B. It's a little bit more complicated than Innovation Boost. But generally what we've seen is the projects that have been supported so far haven't generated new IP, you know. But we can have that discussion when we get to the application stage.
Okay, thanks, Robbie. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next presentation, and I'm delighted to introduce my counterpart, David Downey, who's been thrown in at the deep end. I know, David, you've just been appointed as the IDEAM Cluster Manager, and you're going to present this afternoon on some opportunities to collaborate with the Technical University of the Shannon, who could also be an academic partner for any companies in Northern Ireland that are looking to participate in any of these programs. So David, over to you.
Yeah, thanks a million. Yeah, it's week 4 for me, so it's grand, but so far so good. Like, so I suppose I'm the cluster manager down here in Limerick, and I got a good team around me as well. So I suppose IDEAM really is supporting the transformation of manufacturing industry through digitalization is our key message. Like, so, and who are TOOS? Like, they're a regional growth through collaboration, and we have 5 locations in Ireland. We have Limerick, Athlone, Clonmel, Thurles, and Ennis, and we have 16,000 students and 2,000 staff. 9 designated research institutes, and in engineering, science, art, and society. IDEAM itself is the Irish Digital Engineering and Advanced Manufacturing Research Institute. It's a centre of excellence for Industry 4 and 5 through artificial intelligence, data analytics, robotics, and energy. And we're always supporting the digital transformation of small, medium enterprise in particular in the Midwest region and further afield. And we're under the Department of Electrical and Electronic Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and the Built Environment in TOOS here. So this is a helicopter shot of our platform. We have IDEAM and TOOS in the middle, and closely linked to this, you have the IDEAM industry cluster to deal with small, medium enterprise. You have the Smarter Factory Technology Gateway, which everybody north and south of the border is welcome to be involved in. You have international research, the IDEAM Learning Factory, Factory Exchange Innovation Hub, the European projects, IDEAM Specialist Research Groups. So what supports can IDEAM bring to companies? So I suppose we have 3 pillars here. You have skill supports, smart supports, and sustainable supports. So you have apprenticeships, which are I think they're very important to me, because I did apprenticeship myself, and I'm doing an apprenticeship now in UL for a PD Eng. So I'd have a keen interest in that. You have industry-based training. You have professional masters and industrial PhDs. From a smart perspective, you have data analytics, predictive maintenance, cognitive robotics, digital twins, and artificial intelligence. For sustainability of companies, to help them with energy efficiency, renewable energy, and smart grids. So the IDEAM cluster, which I manage myself, we focus on the regional support of small, medium enterprise. A lot of it is through solving problems, helping them through difficult issues they come across, and it's supported by the Regional Technology Cluster Fund 2019 to 2025. And more important, we have an industry-based steering board, which I think is very important, that there's a good blend of academia and industry, and they're across a lot of different disciplines. So which improves the opportunity for network and engagement, support to find investment, business-to-business collaborations, and internationalization. The Smarter Factory itself is a work in progress at the moment. I think the funding has been secured for it, so it'll be open to everybody north and south of the border. So the impacts we had so far, there've been a lot. Like, some of them I'd say a lot of them were before my time, but a couple of them stand out. Like Takumi would be a company here in not too far from TOOS. Boston Scientific is just up the road. Stryker Cork, through their additive manufacturing, there was a 60% reduction in machine downtime. this is an interesting one because I think additive is a growing technology. A lot of people interested in it. Henkel in Dublin, Lufthansa Technics in Shannon, very, very local to us here as well. The other impacts were Johnson & Johnson Vision. I worked with them myself not too long ago. I came from there. So they're a fantastic company. Takumi in local here to us as well. We're putting a video together at the moment for the digitalization versus the actual process itself. So it's a great win. Zimmer Orthopedics in Shannon. Analog Devices. Again, you have Stryker in Cork for data analytics in injection molding. And then you have data-driven energy efficiency with Penn Engineering up in Galway, Dupuy in Cork, the redesign of a new production line for energy savings of 100,000. You have Cook Medical here in Limerick, another great company. And again, Takumi is Takumi for the third time for real-time monitoring of machine operations. So it's a bit short and sweet. It wasn't as long as the other two, but if for further information, you can reach out to John Cosgrove himself or myself, absolutely. And we gladly help any way we can. And we have a great team here as well outside of myself, which is good. Like, I think that's it from me.
Thanks, David. I know there's a great ecosystem of companies down there that, you know, through this program, through our Digi Manufacturing program, partnering with IDM, that we potentially can get access. So if there's any companies possibly in Northern Ireland that want to speak to any of those companies that you've mentioned there, David, you'd be happy to facilitate that,
yeah,
I'm sure.
100%, absolutely. They're all very open, very approachable. And if you know they can't do it together themselves, I'll absolutely accommodate it, like 100%.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so take advantage of any follow-up. I'd mentioned previously in my presentation where you can book in a slot with myself, Camilla, or David. I'm sure David, you have his email there. We can give you you know, a 30-minute slot just to try and navigate around the different supports that we've spoken about today and that are presented, to maybe try and signpost you to the one that best fits your project or your idea. So thanks for that, David. I'll move on. I'm conscious of time. I do want to have everybody wrapped up, and we have Michelle, and then I'm going to bring in very quickly at the end Ben Craig on he's going to just quickly chat about sustainability assessments. So Michelle, thanks for your patience. So Michelle Billum, I've known Michelle for a number of years, and Michelle's she's just taken up the new post. You're in the post probably month now, Michelle, is it? You're just on mute. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. The new post have been with InterTrade from around April, and then moved into a new post around about a month ago. You know, so it's been fast.
Brilliant.
So,
no, Michelle, thank you. And so Michelle's the Innovation Programme Manager at InterTradeIreland, and Michelle is going to give you an overview today of the new Business Explorer programme, which sounds really exciting too. So over to you, Michelle.
Okay, thank you. I thank you everyone for coming today and taking the opportunities that there are. Okay, just trying to get this to work. Okay, Business Explorer is it was kind of born out of the Business Explorer program will be an ultimate feeder into Innovation Boost and ultimately the business B2B that Robbie and Dominic have just spoken about. But what we'd realised down through time is that some people just aren't ready for the Innovation Boost. They're not at the point that they can employ somebody, and they may need to do a bit more development work in the background first. So, and some people just haven't taken that leap of faith into using innovation as a means to problem solving. So we are offering the 2 stages of support leading up hopefully then into an Innovation Boost, and that's firstly explore and then plan. So it's sort of what's next for my business. You want to get a bit of guidance, and you can do that with the support of an academic. And then if through that guidance you've come up with an idea or a solution to a particular problem, and you continue to work with the academic to create a plan of implementation which then will feed into the Innovation Boost, where you will recruit a graduate to continue with the development work and to project manage the implementation. So what does it look like? It's, you know, in terms of the Explore is 5 days of support. Plan is then 18 days of support, and the funding goes directly to the academic. And then you can progress. The eligibility criteria for Explore is more or less the same as Innovation Boost. The difference being is the turnover. The turnover on Explore is 250. For Plan, it's 300, and then you're into Innovation Boost for 350. So each point of support is intended to support you in terms of your growth as well. Okay. The areas that we are looking at or we are offering that we could potentially look at are within digitalization, those listed on the screen. But we always keep other there because this is only a suggestion of areas that you may wish to look at. Predominantly, you know, although you're saying energy efficiency or digitalization, it's more or less going to be a process improvement using digitalization, you know, so they do tend to fall in around the product or process improvement, product development, process improvement. And those, you will see that some of our graphics that are circulating on social media at the moment. So who is it for? It's for Explore is suitable for business who are beginning to consider exploring a solution for a current business challenge or at the very early stages of design for a new product or process. Plan is suitable for business who've begun to address the challenge or new product or process development but need support from a specialist to go further. You apply through the website. It's not an owner's application. Once you apply for the first, we will be capturing a lot of your detail, your name, address, phone number, etc., and that will remain in the corporate memory. So when you go to apply again, you're kind of just into the beef of the the application. All correspondence to Business Explorer email address currently, and that will get straight to me anyway. So the process is you're applying through the website. The assessment is then hosted by InterTradeIreland panel. Once your application is approved, based on the detail of your need or challenge or product development, we will align you with an academic. The academic goes through a rigorous assessment as well, where they've got to complete an expression of interest and be quite specific about their skills. They are invited to tick the areas of specialism that they have, and then they need to demonstrate that by their knowledge, their working experience, and then providing you, the business, with a professional bio to make sure that you're comfortable enough with working with them. Once that pairing takes place, then there is like a formal introduction between both parties, and that's hosted on MS Teams. And after that, then the letter of offer is submitted, where both parties get together on an MS Teams to complete it. Once the letter of offer comes in, and within that letter of offer, there's a terms of reference. And on that terms of reference, on the 5, it's set out into what you plan to do over the 5 days, or with the plan, it's 4 different meetings, what you plan to do between meetings and during that period of time. With both you, once the letter of offer is submitted, you will have 10 days then to begin to start the project. We have introduced like a live reporting space where you will be issued a SharePoint folder where there'll be a live reporting document that you complete, and InterTradeIreland then will periodically go in and review the progress of the project, and may call you to see how things are going as well. So that's I think that's more or less me, Mary. So if I go back to, so that's say if you take note of that QR code, then and that takes you directly to the website to begin looking at applying. It hosts the eligibility criteria and a wee bit of detail then just about what the programme's about. Okay, a bit short and sweet there, Mary, but just to allow a bit
Thanks, Michelle.
for time.
Look, all of this information is available on the InterTradeIreland website. And again, we'll be sharing these slides. So, you know, take some time out to navigate around that, to see, obviously, don't chase the funding. It has to be right for you. It has to be at the right stage of your digitalization journey or your transition to net zero. So it's very important that you take time to carefully select that. And today you have access to all of these different presenters who you can pick up the phone to, you can email in and get some more information. So just don't rush into anything without properly, you know, having that chat first. So thanks for that, Michelle. And just before we finish off, I've invited Ben Craig, who's a director in International Synergies, has kindly agreed just to come on and do a quick introduction for us, to let you on, to kind of give you a bit of background in terms of the sustainability assessments that we're conducting through the Digi Manufacturing project. So I'm just going to quickly share my screen. And Ben, you can just maybe won't do a screen share for me. Oh, okay. It's been a bit temperamental. Okay, so there's lots of QR codes here today. So Ben, I'm going to pass over to you. You can explain a little bit about what we're trying to do here as part of the Digi Manufacturing project, which is kindly funded through InterTradeIreland as well.
Sure. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for having me along. My name is Ben Craig, as Mary said, and I have been conducting sustainability assessments on behalf of this Digi Manufacturing programme over the last number of months, and we're getting close to the end of the opportunity to continue doing these funded assessments, and we wanted to make sure that that opportunity you know, was taken up as widely as possible. I see Elaine Sorensen is on. She was one of the people that took up the opportunity for an assessment. And really, to give you an overview of what it is, it's about 60 to 90 minutes of your time. We have a one-to-one call, you and I take you through a diagnostic assessment, which is, in the broadest sense, sustainability. So the kinds of questions that I'm going to ask you are things like, do you have a sustainability policy? Do you have solar panels? Do you put eco-friendly hand washing soaps out in your sinks? Do you have things in an accessible format for people who are blind and deaf? Those sorts of questions, you know, so it goes right across the environmental spectrum of activities. It goes across your governance, and it goes across your social. So in terms of, if any of you are looking at pulling together an ESG strategy, environmental social governance strategy, this is going to give you some clear data points on where you're at right now. In terms of that broader agenda. Some of you may be conducting a carbon footprint or an energy audit, or undertaking a whole range of different sustainability focused actions. You may be doing something on diversity and inclusion. And really, this is designed to try and ask the questions that are going to give you a diagnostic baseline of, oh, here's actually where I'm doing really well. I'm actually doing things on this. I didn't realize that was part of sustainability, but actually we're doing some stuff on that. Or, oh, I didn't realize that was part of sustainability, and that would be really easy for us to do something about. So you may find very quickly that there's some low-hanging fruit that you can take some clear action on. And I suppose the major output from the assessment is you get a report that highlights exactly what we've just discussed in the assessment. So back to you as a PDF. So for each question, you know, say it's the do you have a sustainability policy question, you'll answer yes, no, work in progress, and I'll write down where you're at with that in a kind of evidence box. So it might be that you have one, in which case I'll write down, sustainability policy is present, completed on whatever date, and available, for inclusion in tenders or whatever you might be going for. So that's the kind of thing. Or it might be that, it's something else, and we've noted down that, in discussion, well, that's something you could actually maybe take action on quite easily, and the ways that you might do that. So we just note that sort of thing down as well. So it very much is an internal document for you, that you can then do your own internal materiality assessment to work out, what action do you want to take. There'll be some actions that you can take which will save you money, as well as making a difference on sustainability, and without any investment other than just, prioritizing a little bit of time perhaps towards that has a very quick return on investment. So we can look at those things throughout the report as well, which can then help you perhaps build up the investment or, room to breathe that you need to maybe make some of the other bigger adjustments to your operations as you start to, delve deeper into sustainability as you go forward. And I suppose this kind of thing is just going to become increasingly prevalent for you within business. If you haven't already been asked by a bank for an ESG strategy with tangible evidence of what you're going to do, you very soon will be if you're looking for a loan and or access to finance. And the better you're able to present that information, the more you're going to be offered a preferential rate, essentially, because you're a lower risk to that financial institution. Your customers will be looking for it, your staff be looking for it. It will also drive productivity within your organization. So there's a lot of really good positives in terms of doing it, and it's it's an hour or so out of your time to just undertake that diagnostic assessment, which will give you then the opportunity to review that internally and take some action. And you can, of course, go through that diagnostic assessment a year later to just measure your own internal progress. So a kind of just very useful, rough and ready tool. I'm going to pop into the chat in just 1 second. And I think Mary's got up on the screen a QR code, but you can actually book directly into my diary with a code here that will allow you to arrange that assessment. As I say, we don't have that long left. We have December and a little bit of January to get this done. So if you would like to take advantage of the opportunity to have that diagnostic assessment, please click that link, get on there. It's only my diary and there's only so much time in it. So if you'd like to get your spot on there, please don't hesitate to click the link and get involved. That's everything from me.
Thanks, Ben. I'm so glad you joined, because you said that much better than I could ever have possibly communicated that. So thank you so much for that. So there's, I put up the image of the QR code, which you can click, which will take you directly into Ben's calendar. And Ben has also put a link. So there's no excuses here. But no, folks, seriously, this is a great opportunity. It's free. And it's, it's an hour out of your time, and we're so fortunate to have Ben working alongside us on this. And I really encourage you to do this. There are places left, so the sooner if you can get that booked in today, that's great. We can only continue them up until the end of January time. So Ben's availability for December and January will be in that calendar. Okay, so listen, thanks for your patience. We ran slightly over time, but I think we covered so much there today. I really want to thank all of the presenters for presenting today. That was really, really useful. Lots of information to take in there. Again, we will be sharing this. If you have any questions, please come back to us, and we will connect you up as well. So there is that opportunity of a free 30-minute conversation or slot that with myself or one of the IDEAM team. You can contact the Innovation Boost team as well. You have those details in the slides, and you can feel free to reach out to Michelle or Ben or any of the presenters today as well directly. So thank you, everyone, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Mary.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary.
Thank you.
Bye.